Well, a concerning new question is being asked this morning. How is it still possible to commit a crime and disappear in Australia in 2026? In New South Wales, accused triple murderer Julian Ingram has now been on the run for a week after allegedly shooting dead 3 people.
Meanwhile, in regional Victoria, Desi Freeman has been on the loose for 5 months after allegedly killing 2 police officers on his property in Pawnpukka. And despite a $1 million reward and a record amount of resources being poured into the search, police are yet to find any trace. For their take on this, we're joined by Rob Critchlow, former New South Wales Detective Superintendent, and Charlie Bazina, former homicide detective with Victoria Police. Good morning to you both. First to you, Rob. 2 horrific crimes, 2 horrific suspects as well. So far, both have managed to evade justice. How is that possible?
Australia's a big country, Matt, and I think people forget how big our country actually is. And the territory in both areas is different. One's very mountainous and remote, other one's very remote, flat and harsh. And if someone wants to get moving in those areas and hide out, it's hard to find them because it's a big place.
Yeah, we're obviously seeing that with these 2 cases. Charlie, Desi, on the run for almost a year now, which is horrific after what he did. How do you think he's been able to evade justice for so long?
Well, the whole thing is he would have had a good head start given the fact of deployment of our specialist people from Melbourne being flown in that day and then formulating a plan to start a search of the bush. It's a very big ask, the fact of him having a head start, and I'm learning since that time that there are a lot of sympathisers in the Pawnpukka area that are also sovereign citizens, so he may have got out of the bush with that head start and been harboured somewhere, and if not interstate.
That's right, Charlie. You make a really good point. Rob, similarities in these 2 cases in the fact that the suspects definitely understood and knew the bushland areas within their communities, yes, but also too potentially may have had people within those communities helping them out. Would that be possible?
It's very, very possible. We've heard it said by the commander in Western New South Wales and Victoria as well, the different communities. One member's a sovereign person, other person's member of the Indigenous community, and we know that some people in the Indigenous community will look after family and friends first before the police, so that's to be expected. I don't know how clear the evidence is for that, but it's very, very possible. And if those people are harbouring these fugitives, they're obviously aiding the crime. You know, there's been horrible murders on both sides.
And then what happens if they get caught harbouring someone?
They're liable to be charged under the in New South Wales under the New South Wales Crimes Act, which is section 316, which is concealing a serious offence.
And what sort of punishment?
Several years in jail. So
wow,
usually about 2 years in jail, but definitely people go to jail a lot for this. If people help murderers and serious offenders escape justice, police will arrest them and charge them. They will go to jail.
Charlie, let's go back to Desi. Where do you think he is? There were reports early on that he may have gone interstate. Could he be overseas? Could he be alive?
Well, my take on things Servo, is that he's either deceased because I think he's the type of individual, from what I can gather through the media reports, that he would have either come out guns blazing to make himself a bit of a martyr. To survive in the bush this long, I suppose, is a long task, especially now we've got the bushfire season happening. Can he survive? And if he has perished by either an accident or some other means, we may never find the deceased because we've got feral foxes, feral cats, eagles and the likes, and nothing will be left of the body. So it may remain a mystery for ever and a day, unfortunately.
Charlie, is this unusual to find no trace of someone like Desi Freeman?
Well, it's not unusual. We've had a number of cases here in Victoria. We had a fellow called Prideaux, who was the governor of the Barwon prison, who was a hunter, and no trace whatsoever has been found of him. We've had other people that have gone missing, bushwalkers and the likes. So it's not unusual, even for the ones that want to be found, let alone the ones that don't want to be found. I don't believe Desi Freeman, and through intelligence, that he's got the capabilities to get a false passport and the likes, but I think he certainly, if he's out and about, he would have changed his appearance. You might pass him in the street, and unfortunately the minds of the community, they do become complacent and they get on with their life. So unfortunately, we haven't got the eyes and ears of the community who we really rely upon, and the unprecedented here in Victoria. Victoria, $1 million rewards for information only, let alone capture. So quite significant.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about it, to remind people and to keep the interest and the alertness up as well. Rob, in terms of technology, particularly with the police, we just assume that you guys have the best tech available to you. We know that around that Lake Cargilligo area and Mount Hope that it's been extremely hot. Thermal imaging becoming a problem there.
Well, people are 37, 38 degrees, and if it's above that, the people will just blend into it. So that the thermal imaging won't work. It will at night, but again, if you're taking cover at night, and again, we're going to search. You've got to pick somewhere to look for. And this fellow left in a car. It's a ute, and there's probably thousands of utes out there. So the police have to go and check these reports. But because he's armed and dangerous, they can't just walk up and knock on the door or pull the car over without some sort of tactical plan. So we've got specialist members out there doing that, but it's very hard. If he's not using mobile phones, which often police use to track people around, if he's not carrying one of those or a tricky watch like mine, you can't track that with technology. So it goes back to hard work with police on the ground looking around.
So that's why they put out this the pictures of this dual cab ute that they've released to the media today to try and get that word out there to try and find it.
Indeed, so people may have seen a drive past them, but it's very important to call the police.
And one thing we do know is the police are doing everything they can to track both of these suspects down. We know that for sure.
No question.
Rob, Charlie, thank you so much.